Hello and welcome to this Track Talk season review as we have a look back at all the action from 2015 from the Singapore Turf Club. And it was the usual suspects, the War Affairs, the Keshwars and also the Step It Ups who came to the fore in 2015, as well as a few cameos from the champion Spalato. Super 1, the youngster, completely dominated the 2-year-olds, whilst Affleck wasn't quite as dominant as he had been at 2, but still snared the coveted guineas at 3. A relative newcomer in Fastnet Dragon was mixing it with the big boys, whilst on the Polytrack, Super Winner and My Lucky Strike enjoyed highly successful seasons. War Affair and Spalato both showed their champion qualities through the year, but both endured a year of frustration battling injury. This paved the way for the mighty Step It Up to enjoy his best ever season of racing. Forging a bond with Australian ace jockey Michael Rodd, the Laurie Laxon trained star would claim 2 out of the 3 legs of the Singapore Triple Crown, in addition to his multiple other feature race wins. It was a breakout season for Mark Walker, claiming his first Trainers' Premiership. Manuel Nunes remained dominant to take the jockey's title, whilst the emergence of Rizwan Shafiq, who would make an astonishing comeback from suspension, to claim his second Apprentice's title. Hong Kong again took the SIA Cup and Cruise Fly with Dan Excel and Aero Velocity, while Singapore was well represented on the international front, with El Padrino, who travelled not once but twice, and there were also international duties for Emperor Max in England and Super 1 in Australia. We welcomed a host of international gallopers in the CECF Cup early in the season, and later in the year we farewelled Singapore's favourite little horse, Flax. This is the Track Talk season review of 2015 and you've got the best seat in the house. Let's wind back the clock to the first feature of the year on the first day of the year, New Year's Day. South African trainer Patrick Shaw, blessed with a strong team of stayers in his stable, would have a stellar season in the staying features with a strong team of Argentinian-bred horses. 2014 Longines Singapore Gold Cup hero Keshwar, with his star jockey Corey Brown, would start the season in hot form with a gritty, hard-fought victory in the New Year Cup.
By a length and a quarter. Fujian Bright running second. The Gold Cup winner from 2014, that's Keshwar. He's tucked away third. The Rails, Boomerang Deluxe in fourth. In fact, now going out 3 deep and improving, being followed by Emperor's Banquet pushed along. Then Knight's Command improving, followed by Vaglatica, Goliath and also Trapeus. So inside the 600 metres they go, and Lazar still defies them. Keshwar's had a beautiful run and he now moves off the rails to issue a challenge. In fact, further back, so the shore runners certainly to the fore here. Then Fujian Bright, Boomerang Deluxe needs to get going. He's tucked away on the rails from Knight's Command, and Emperor's Banquet coming down the outside. A little bit of a surprise here. In fact, has raced up to Keshwar. Let's see the response from Keshwar. In fact, has taken over here from Jaglal. They're clear of Knight's Command and also Emperor's Banquet. It's Keshwar, and in fact they're going to fight this out. In fact, on the outside, Keshwar fighting very strongly. This is going to be very close, but he comes back and wins. He's a classy individual, Keshwar.
Stablemate, in fact, was weighted 7.5 kilos lower than Keshwar, almost causing a surprise. But it was Keshwar who handed Pat Shaw his third win in the race after previous wins of Escamonda and Lazar. The second feature would go the way of highly improved galloper Knight's Command, with credit going to Bruce Marsh and his team for nursing Knight's Command through constant leg troubles.
They come towards the top of the straight, 600 metres to go, about to quicken, and Brilliant Deal shows the way a half length over Emperor's Banquet. Knight's Command now sweating on a run over on the inside. In fact, Naresh Jaglal is hard at work on the favourite, Trapeus the outside, and next of all is Dujardin. Brilliant Deal is the leader over Emperor's Banquet. Now in fact runs on, and now Knight's Command getting a split between them, pushing into the clear. Dujardin finishing on okay, but Knight's Command quickly up along the side of Emperor's Banquet. In fact, tries to finish on, but Knight's Command for Nunes. He's having a great day, Nunes, and he wins the feature. Knight's Command races away by 3.
Cliff Brown produced a training masterclass with 4-year-old Absolutely, coming from last to claim the $200,000 Three Rings Trophy. The win gave the newly arrived jockey Craig Newitt his first big win in Singapore.
Down the side they come, and Harry Kassam and Hermana Manor show the way in the Three Rings Trophy, led by a half length over Believe Yourself, travelling strongly the outside. Still up wide is Power Lion. It's exposed. They were followed by Gobi Ranger between them, then Husey. Titanium now being ridden along, beginning to be stoked up. Night Wager just inside of it, looking for a bit of room, and it's finishing on pretty strongly. And Absolutely's back at the rear. 300 170 metres to go, and the filly Believe Yourself quickly alongside of Amana Manor. Husey battling away strongly. Titanium down the outside. Night Wager just battling away. Believe Yourself in front. Amana Manor kicking back strongly down the outside, absolutely, and Titanium run on. Believe Yourself in front, but absolutely flying home first up from a break, and absolutely is going to blow them out of the park.
Baron Vorster was at his best on Emperor's Banquet in the Group 3 Fortune Bowl as Pat Shaw continued his golden run in the staying events in Singapore. Turning the tables on Knight's Command after his second in the Woodlands Classic, Emperor's Banquet enhanced his reputation and his resume, which also includes a second in the Gold Cup of 2014.
They're turning down the side now, and they go to the final 800 metres, and Good Pack has made play from the outset in the Fortune Bowl. Good Pack leads by a length over Brilliant Deal. A length and 3/4 then to, next of all, Emperor's Banquet, followed by Dujardin improving along the inside from Alexandra Palace. Vergladica dropping back. Next of all then is Knight's Command. Might need a little bit of luck over on the inside, and back of the tail is Martin. They come to the top of the straight. Good Pack still full of running. He's out by a length and a quarter. Over in second, Brilliant Deal, then Emperor's Banquet. Now Knight's Command into the clear. Quickly down the outside he comes, followed by Alexandra Palace. Brilliant Deal goes up alongside of Good Pack. Now Emperor's Banquet goes up and strikes the lead. Emperor's Banquet went to the front, coming out of his Knight's Command on the outside, but Emperor's Banquet for Vorster just in front. Knight's Command coming out of it. Emperor's Banquet, beautiful ride by Vorster.
Excitement grew in Singapore with talk of a new race early in the year. Whilst restricted to horses who raced under the China Horse Club banner and tagged as Singapore's richest race, the Group 1 had a standout performer. Her name, Paranda. The American mare was now under the guidance of Christophe Clement. Also in the lineup was Zululand from Australia, Orbec and Summer Surprise from France, and also Mingzi Cosmos, who was also a French bred but had done a fair share of her racing in Italy.
About to go, Trapeus Zululand still spots them a lead, and Bajan back at the tail. Summer Surprise is the leader, 420 metres to go, but Paranda strolled alongside, and now Mingzi Cosmos begins to run on strongly. Zululand is creeping up behind them, followed by My Option. 300 metres to go. Paranda over on the inside of Mingzi Cosmos. Zululand trying to pick up on the outside. Sumion getting the best out of Paranda. Found a length now over Mingzi Cosmos. Zululand down the outside, but Paranda, 2 good races away. The USA mare, Paranda wins it by 2.5.
Many of the horses who ran in the CECF Cup would stay in Singapore with varied success. Orbec returned to Australia, racing successfully in Sydney, finishing 4th in the Group 1 Metropolitan. Following the race, Paranda was transferred into the care of Michael Freedman, but would race only one more time in the QE2 Cup before succumbing to a hoof issue. On the same day, A La Victory almost gifted the China Horse Club a memorable moment on their day of days. Also in the lineup was the speedy filly Kiwi Karma, who was having her second run under the guidance of new trainer Michael Clements, and Jimmy Ray, whose 3 wins from 4 starts had him the $9 favourite in the CECF Singapore Classic.
Victory. Jimmy Ray peels to the outside. He looks ominous at the top of the straight, and know each other in behind them. They turn in, 420 metres to go, and out in the middle of the track, A La Victory the first to go up and join Wimbledon. Jimmy Ray is flat to the floorboards down the outside. Kiwi Karma getting a run through nearer the inside as A La Victory in front over Jimmy Ray, who's trying to get there, or the leader ducked in sharply. This is the chance for Jimmy Ray, and now Kiwi Karma through on the inside. Jimmy Ray hits the lead. Kiwi Karma, A La Victory still there. Kiwi Karma railed up, hit the front. Great performance from Kiwi Karma.
Had it not been for a sudden shift inwards from A La Victory in the home straight, the result may well have been different. But the $12 second favourite prevailed, leaving Michael Clements eyeing the Desta 3-year-old Sprint in early April for the filly. Moving on to the Polytrack Mile Championship. Pat Shaw, who had already had the New Year Cup and Fortune Bowl in his keeping, would saddle up 3 hopefuls in the Polytrack Mile. Keshwar was having his first run since winning the New Year Cup, while Slew of Load and Daviday, who like Keshwar, were both Argentinian bred.
Sneaking through on the inside, but will need a little bit of luck. They were followed by One Ra. Dujardin makes a circling run around the outside. They come to the bend, top of the straight. Slew of Load with a little kick, gets out by a length and a half over Trudeau. Dujardin's come into it fairly quickly. away. Keshwa's off the bit and struggling. They turn in. Front runner Slew of Load still by a length over Dujardin. Trudeau knuckling down, coming on strong, followed by Flax. Keshwa not really in the hunt, but kicking clear. Slew of Load, the big roughie in the race, is out by 3-4 lengths over Trudeau. Now Keshwa gets out and thunders home for Slew of Load. Great tactical ride, JP, and Slew of Load.
Strolling through the first 400 metres in a tick under 28 seconds, John Powell never gave his rivals a chance. It was Slew of Load's first win for nearly a year and his fifth in Singapore. The Merlin Trophy is the first leg of the Singapore Sprint Series and has been won recently by trainer Elvin Tan with Speedy Cat in 2013 and also by El Padrino in 2014. El Padrino was back again to defend his title, whilst his main danger was the Patshaw-trained Magneto, who was having his second run on the Polytrack.
They're off in the Merlin Trophy. Supernova and Hooker Falls both away well. Magneto out wide is zooming up there, and a Happy Money's going to hold a good spot with City Lad. Holy Empire going up on the outside now. Hypernova went forward. Just off them, Goalkeeper Goodman. Followed then back in the pack to Cavallo. Getting back was Step It Up, and El Padrino drops out at the tail. They go by the final 850. Turning off the back, and Magneto from a wide draw has got across the rails. Led by a half over Holy Empire. Hooker Falls travels well. Third, the leader's back from Goalkeeper. Hypernova, Happy Money, City Lad, Supernova on a wide trip. Step It Up about to pick up ground to the outside. Followed by Cavallo, then Goodman. And El Padrino still last, about 12 from the leader. Magneto into the straight. Turns for home by 2 lengths over Holy Empire under big pressure. Over on the inside is Hooker Falls, followed by Happy Money. Then came Goalkeeper, Step It Up. And here's El Padrino down the outside. Magneto getting tired. Holy Empire goes to it, Step It Up. And down the outside is El Padrino. El Padrino zoomed up on the outside to Step It Up. Put his nose in front. He's come from dead last, El Padrino. And he races away back to back in the Merlin. El Padrino over Step.
Only 2 trainers were involved in the Marceline Classic. Hideyuki Takaoka bravely sent 2 of his runners into battle against a quartet of runners from the shore yard. Predictably, it was the South African who came out on top.
Banquet. They were followed by, in fact, beginning to be stoked up now near the top of the straight, and Spring Thunder was at the tail. The sprint goes on for home here, and Brilliant Deal is still the leader. Alexandra Palace making a bit of ground over on the inside. In fact, is coming into it nicely, so too Slew of Load. Emperor's Banquet can't go with them in the concluding stages. Slew of Load moves up on the outside. In fact, tries to go with him, so the brothers fight it out. Big Brother in front, Slew of Load trying to get there, is in fact on the outside, but Slew of Load wins again. Another gem of a ride from John Powell, and Slew of Load wins by 2.
In a rare coincidence, first and second were full brothers by the sire Load out of a mare called Slew of Reality. After previously missing the Golden Shaheen last year, El Padrino would get his chance this time round. As he did in 2014, he had taken the Merlin Sprint, but did not have the necessary inoculation stipulated by the United Arab Emirates veterinary authorities. No such problems in 2015, and the gelding embarked on an adventure for his young trainer Elvin Tan, taking on some of the world's fastest horses on dirt in the Dubai Golden Shaheen.
They're turning for home. Lucky 9 on the outside of Rich Tapestry. Hong Kong 1-2. Here's the USA. Secret Circle making a line of 3, and Super Jockey's a length and a half away. Secret Circle went to the front, coming to the final 200 metres. Super Jockey is giving chase. Rich Tapestry still there on the rail. Secret Circle in front. Super Jockey's coming. Super Jockey is driving at Secret Circle. Secret Circle but digs in, hangs on.
The Desta 3-year-old sprint, the first leg of the 3-year-old challenge, provided a rematch between the standout performers at 2. Affleck, who was voted champion 2-year-old, would look to maintain his edge over Kiwi Karma. Laurie Laxon, who had the luxury of training both Kiwi Karma and Affleck as 2-year-olds, would now have to take on the filly with his star Affleck. The race had been delayed a week after the passing of Singapore's founding father Lee Kuan Yew. This delay meant Michael Rodd had to give up the mount on Affleck due to suspension, and John Powell would be his replacement for the 1200-metre feature.
Across to second. Touch Me Not is third over on the rails. Then came Affleck, a length and a half away in 5th position as they come to the top of the straight is Spanish Bay. Then came Caster up on the outside with Time Odyssey. Well back Platoon. Then came next of all Believe Yourself as they turn in. Great Scott a mile off them. 400 metres to go and Sebastian's the leader over Kiwi Karma. Affleck down the outside begins to lengthen. They were followed by Spanish Bay and Touch Me Not. Kiwi Karma, the filly, went to the lead. Affleck Power went for the stick, trying to pick up Kiwi Karma. In behind them, Touch Me Not and Spanish Bay. Kiwi Karma in front. Affleck coming at it on the outside. Kiwi Karma giving plenty. Affleck can't pick it up, and Kiwi Karma an upset in the first leg of the three.
For Michael Clements, a dream result. Not only first, but third as well with Touch Me Not. Clements would face a difficult decision following the victory. Should Kiwi Karma try and emulate the greats like War Affairs, Super Easy and Better Than Ever by completing a clean sweep of the 3-year-old challenge, or should he focus on the sprinting trips with the Lion City Cup and Chris Flyer's Sprint? Moving on to the second leg of the Singapore Sprint Series, the Kranji Sprint. After taking the reins on Affleck on the Friday to warm the saddle for the suspended Michael Rodd, John Power was again the go-to man in the absence of the suspended reinsman. This time it worked out better for Powell, steering the reigning Sprint of the Year Zach Spirit to victory.
Going up on the outside, El Milagro coming across, and Zach Spirit should get the run of the race. Pachelbel's Cannon sneaking through to its inside. Magneto is midfield and out 3 deep, followed by Golden Sand Steed Cavello, and a gap away in the field to Cheetah on Fire. 800 metres to go, and Goalkeeper zooms along in the front, shows the way and is out by 2 on Holy Empire. Zach Spirit keenly in third. Over on its outside is El Milagro, then Pachelbel's Cannon, Magneto. The outside is Cavello, then Golden Sand Steed, and a gap away to Cheetah on Fire. So they're gone fairly hard. Goalkeeper shows the way as they come to the 450. Holy Empire up on the outside, then El Milagro. Zach Spirit is just in behind them with the red cap. It's travelling quite strongly. Holy Empire at the 300 went to the lead over Goalkeeper. Zach Spirit let rip out in the middle. Goalkeeper kicked through underneath of Holy Empire. Zach Spirit begins to lengthen out of the middle and finish on very strongly. Zach Spirit goes by Goalkeeper. Golden Sand Steed begins to run on, but Zach Spirit's going to be too good. Goalkeeper fights on strongly, but back to back for Zach Spirit. Zach Spirit by 3/4 over Goalkeeper.
Giving a massive 6.5 kilos to the runner-up and 8 kilos to the third place getter, the Cliff Brown-trained Speedster made its successive Kranji Sprints. Missing from the race were Emperor Max and Kiwi Karma, who would be ready and waiting in the Lion City Cup. Rumours were also circulating the champion War Affair was set to make his comeback in the best domestic race for sprinters, which was only 3 weeks away. Great to have your company on the Track Talk season review of 2015 and a hot start for trainer Pat Shaw. Things are about to get hotter after the break as we have a look at the remaining 2 legs of the 3-year-old series.